Yo guys, I hope you're all good and welcome back to the channel. On today's video we are back in the driveway, we're back in the trials bikes and we're going to do a tutorial for you. One of the most popular requests on the YouTube comments has been how to do a Fakie nose manual. So today we're going to get the trials bikes out, going to try them ourselves, plenty of slow-mos, loads of tips and just generally show you guys the best way of how to learn this new trick. So before you get started with this, the ideal setup is a medium kind of gradual hill. Grass is probably better. It's a little bit harder to do it on grass, but it's less gnarly for crashing. I'm going to kick things off on the trials bike, show you guys some of the different techniques of actually getting your back wheel up in the air and then obviously holding it and maintaining a nice smooth Fakie nose manual. I guess it's worth adding, the smoother the hill the better. I would say the grass is definitely harder, but taking everything into consideration, it's probably still worth practicing on grass, especially if you can find some smooth grass, just so it's a little bit forgiving, just in case you go over the handlebars. But most of you guys will be trying this with a front brake, which is basically the modulation that's going to kind of keep you balanced. You do kind of have to let it go quite a bit if you want to get some speed, but your front brake's always there to basically catch you if you feel like you're going over the front. The only way you'll actually like face plant on this trick is if you pull your brake too hard and your front wheel slips on the grass, which is what you may have seen Danny do once upon a time on Instagram. I guess the main thing to talk about is the two ways that you can basically get up on your front wheel. The way I was just doing it there was basically rolling up and then I kind of fakie for about half a pedal stroke before using your arms and your strength to basically get your back wheel up. It's quite a hard technique, that, and if you're doing it on a hill, and the steeper it is, the hill is, the easier it is. You can actually just use your front brake to do basically an endo, which I'm sure most of you guys can do, and then just go a little bit steeper than you usually would, and then you just let go of your front brake a little bit and you'll start getting that nose manual. So hopefully that will show you guys in a little bit more detail of the two main ways that you can basically get up on your front wheel and get with your back wheel up in the air. To get that back wheel up in the air with the first technique, it's really about pushing and trying harder than you probably think that feels right, if you know what I mean, because it does take a lot of strength. See a couple of model examples from Raspy. He probably do them a lot faster than I did.
When I was learning it, I spent ages trying to get it into that position and then just losing it straight away.
Doing them on a hill in some ways makes it scarier, but it does mean that the way that your bike goes when you do loop out the front, your feet will touch the ground.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to have this catastrophic faceplant situation. Learning that the going over the front of the balance point, because it is so finely tuned, learning that that isn't an absolute disaster and you are still just being able to put your feet out is a massive step in learning the actual trick, because at least then you kind of know what you're dealing with and you're going to be a little bit more willing to sort of push the boundaries of getting that balance point sweet, similar to when you're pulling a manual on the back wheel. Any pointers?
Pay attention to where your knees are.
Yeah.
And most of it sort of, this part of your body is doing all the work really.
Yeah.
Try and keep your arms straight as well.
Yeah, it's like arms straight, knees up, I would say, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you can do it with your knees up, it basically just locks into a little bit more of a balance point, and then it basically means that in one extreme, in terms of going over the front, you're going to be able to tether your front brake like you do with a normal manual, and then on the other extreme, when it's going too low, you raise your knees up and lean forward, and that is going to be keeping it from going too far. And it's basically just a balance between those two reference points: front brake on one side of things, and then keeping your knees up and your weight forward to keep your back wheel up on the other extreme. Do an example of it going too steep and catching it with the front brake, and then I'll try and do an example of it going too flat with the back wheel going down and trying to basically save it by using my body weight and mostly my knee. I actually kind of did both in one move there. So at the start there, I was basically going too steep. So I then drive my front brake a little bit, obviously not pulling it on too hard, otherwise it'll just slam down. It's just about getting that modulation. And then towards the end there, I was actually going not steep enough and my back wheel was coming down. So what I was doing there was basically raising up my knees closer to my chest and the handlebars. And what that does is just shifts your body weight forward and lifts your back wheel back up in the air. So like I say, it's just exactly like a manual on your back wheel, but things are kind of flipped in reverse, which does make it a bit harder. I managed to get the change of gradient quite smooth, so I don't think it was probably not too obvious how much I lifted my knees up, but it was basically a mixture of holding my back brake on, my front brake on reasonably hard, and then when it came to the flatter bit, it's all about just gradually letting your front brake off, because it's obviously not steep, so it's going to need less pressure in the front brake. Once you learn to do them quite long, you're going to then realise that they're quite difficult to basically steer. Kind of like reversing a car, I suppose, when you need to kind of steer the opposite way of where you want to go. So, and it's all about basically just subtle movements. If you try and really correct it by turning your handlebars or anything, you'll either overcompensate or you'll just lose your balance. It's all about straightening it up slowly. Kind of like what a manual is as well. When you're turning a manual, it's all about going in a bit of a nice curve rather than actually like changing it. I'll try and do a couple where I go a bit squint and then straighten them off. Hard to show on this uneven hill to show you that sort of changing of direction. Hopefully that'll show like a little bit of an arc, but basically I was trying to go to the left there, so rather than sort of looking straight over my front wheel, I'd maybe look only ever so slightly gradually off to the left hand side. It just slowly sort of pulls it back, but the most important thing is not to really try and turn your bars too much to try and straighten out, or really try and shift your weight in any sort of sudden movements, because you'll just kind of overcompensate and take your weight off that way, and you're probably going to lose your balance. Rory's been getting pretty handy with the old Fakie nose manuals on the mountain bike, so I'm going to get him to show me how it's done, and then I'll maybe give it a go on the mountain bike and see if I can learn them. Easier to stay straight on the mountain bikes?
Yeah, I think just with the bigger wheels.
Yeah, makes sense I suppose. Rory's like, it's so much easier to stay straight on the mountain bike. Still pretty smooth. Nice little half cab as well. Nice. From what I can gather, it's essentially the same techniques as the trials bike, but it's just going to take a lot more effort, and you kind of need to exaggerate every single thing that you would do in the trials bike or BMX. So it's going to take more effort to get it up on the front wheel. It's going to probably require more front brake to get the balance right if you're going over the front, and it's going to require more body shift to keep the back wheel up if you feel like your back wheel's going down compared to the trials bike. Baspi's top tip: get the seat down as low as you can go so you don't get any gnarly surprises when you come off the back. It's hard.
Yeah, I think you're just doing it a wee bit too fast. You've got it in the front wheel and then you're sort of letting the forks come up sooner than... So you need to let it stay in and then sort of throw your hips back a wee bit. Okay, you've got it. Alright, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Sort of take your time with it a wee bit, so it's like...
Alright, let it go up.
Yeah.
And then go up.
Almost wait till it's about to start coming back down.
Yeah, okay.
It feels pretty weird, but... There you go.
So one last.
Go.
And go a little bit higher and get to the stones.
Okay.
Well happy with that. This went a bit faster, I think.
Yeah.
I had this plan to like really shift my weight forward on the flat bit, but because I got it quite clean, I didn't really need to do it too much. Probably would have put my knees up a fair bit though. Pretty smooth than that. It takes more effort to do everything. So if you can do them on a trials bike or BMX, you will learn on a mountain bike. Whatever you're trying to do, you exaggerate what you did on the trials bike or BMX or smaller bike to do it on the full sus, I think. Oh my word, that was hard work. Finally managed to get one all the way down the hill on the mountain bike. So we're going to try it on the e-bike. We have no idea how hard it's going to be, but we'll give it a blast. I'll let you guys see what the outcome is. I've got a feeling Rory will be able to do it. What's your weapon of choice today?
The Santa Cruz Heckler.
Santa Cruz Heckler, size medium. Raspy the Destroyer.
Covered in dirt already.
Riding her too hard. Oh, not bad.
I think it'll go.
How does it feel?
Pretty tricky to like. Oh.
Yes. She's on. Yo!
That's flat.
That's well good. I was like, what to tell you? I was like, I think he knows that's there. Them.
There you go.
I almost feel better.
Yep.
Those aren't too bad. Didn't quite get to the stones, but I'll take that. Work in progress. Pretty stoked to that. Sorry for taking so long. Sign of things to come. Rory teaching me how to do things rather than the other way around. But yeah, I guess we'll finish the video there. Please give Rory a follow. Hit subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more. And it'd be awesome to hear your suggestions in the comments below what you'd like to see us do next. Catch you in the next one. Peace.